Yo,
Yo, guy.
what's good, my guy? Yo, so real quick, everybody who's on YouTube, give us a quick second. We're about to do something real quick for y'all. But yo, Lina.
Yes. Oh, hi. My name is Lina. Nice to meet you. I'm also another reactor. I didn't know I was supposed to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Lina. Yeah, I'm also
I know you lot still. I know you lot.
Oh,
I know
you know?
all of you
Okay.
still.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
But you lot still, you lot good, yeah?
Yeah, man, we chilling. So right now we're on YouTube. We're about to share this onto the YouTube. So give us a quick second. My fault.
Yeah,
Yo, so for everybody on YouTube, let me know if y'all see what we got going on right here on the stream. We have the man himself.
Yes.
Yo, I'm not gonna hold you. This is kind of lit. This is kind of lit, yo. Everybody on YouTube, let me know if y'all can hear the live. If you can hear both of us, if everything sounds clean. So all of you who are on YouTube, let me know, and then we'll get straight into it. So, what we wanted to do for you all, right? This is the reason why I've been holding out on this live for so long. Right? I wanted to be able to get an artist to actually be present. So we ask us some questions about themselves and to get to know a little bit about their thought process, and just to get to know the person, right? So, I will just so that they can see it. Right, so you want to be able to have opportunity to get to understand that these artists are people and they're human beings, right, outside of the music. So, all right, cool. So somebody said the sound is overlapping. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna mute this.
Yes.
All right, cool. So y'all let me know if you hear me now. I just adjusted the audio. So y'all let me know. Somebody said it sounds mad. I know what it was. I had the audio from the mic and the thing. All right. Somebody said all good. All right, bet. So I don't want to hold you for too long, right? So. Real quick, first and foremost, how's your day going?
Yeah.
So, my brother, I was sleeping, man. I swear to you, man. I fell asleep on the sofa, man. It was conquer, man. Same old, shit, bro.
It gets like that. It gets like that. So, all right, so we're going to get straight into some of these questions, right? So, from the top, right? Something that I want to know personally, right? Yeah. If it wasn't music, right? If you could restart your life at any point in time in your life, right? I said can't hear. If you could, all right. So everybody on Instagram, let me know if you can hear me. But yeah, and those of you on YouTube, let me know if you can hear me, right? But if you could restart your life, right, and do anything else other than music, what would you do?
Play football. Yeah, it'd be a football thing. So I used to kick ball on it when I was a kid. But football was a passion for me, more than music. Music only. Like that was like the last minute type of thing. I didn't really bank on making it with music. I was just doing it for the sake of it with the man.
That makes sense. So like, what was it? Is it because like you grew up around it? Do you just like have that much of a passion for it in general for the sport? Like, what was it about it?
So it is. All of my brothers used to play football, innit? So football was just like, I don't know, man. Football was just naturally something that man will gravitate towards, coming from where man come from, innit? Man's community is like a sporty community as well. So
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also with regards to like life outside of music, right? So outside of obviously doing music and everything, and obviously we know you love football, right? But what are some other things or something else that somebody might be surprised to hear that you're interested in, right? Something that you like, a hobby, or just a random thing that somebody may not expect Abs to like.
You know when you're on YouTube and then them random things come out, them random videos that talk about the planet and shit and animals and them things. I watch a lot of that still. Sometimes people get onto me for it, like, why the fuck are you watching this? But you know, it's like to me it's a different type of knowledge, innit? Cause like I found out, you see like all the ocean and everything, all the sharks and fishes that we all know, that's only like 3% of the ocean or something explored. And the rest is unexplored. So I always think like, oh, what's there? You get it? I like to learn new things and that. And I watch little videos like, you know, have you seen them videos when they say what would happen if everyone stopped breathing for 1 second, for instance?
Yeah.
You got them type of videos and that. Yeah, I watch them. watched shit about animals and that, innit? From young, I was fascinated about animals and that. So I know 1, 2 things about animals, so.
You know what's crazy about that? Your timing on that is mad funny, right? Because I'm with some of my frat bros, right? And we were chilling in a group call, and I was just like, yo, is it just me or has anybody else been getting random recommendations on YouTube for like the most outlandish things?
That's
And then
what
there
I'm
was this
saying.
one
Me, I
video.
click on them.
Yeah, me too. It be mad interesting. The one of them that popped up, the one that popped up yesterday was somebody who was like, he was like replacing and cleaning like cow hooves. Or it was mad random. Like the most random thing in the world. I'm just like, of all things to pop up, yo. All right, so and also just so you know, just so you're ready for it. At the end of this, we're gonna have 10 questions for you. It's just gonna be straight, just this or that, right? Rapid fire at the end of the whole interview, right? So get ready for that. But so something else outside of music, right? So if there was one country in the world that you could visit right now, right? At the drop of a dime, where would you go?
That's a bit of a hard one. Cause I want to go everywhere. Cause I ain't really traveled like that due to certain circumstances. You get it? So
Yeah.
the only places I've really been to is Dubai, innit? And I didn't get to perform like I didn't get to do all my overseas shows at the time I was supposed to do them. Cause I was doing all the major festivals in this country, so I didn't get to perform. And then after when I was supposed to fly out properly, like when I was free to fly out, now it goes really like police and that bell and these things. Yeah, you get it. So I ain't been allowed to fly for a while, innit? So one time, bro, I don't know, man. I think the next place that's to jump up, I'm over there, man. Cause it's just a different experience for me that I ain't experienced like that.
Oh, so if I recall correctly, your family was from Ghana, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm from Ghana.
So you haven't visited family there yet?
I went to Ghana once when I was 12 for like 6 weeks. I ain't been back.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to go there as well, still due time.
Yeah, I hear that. That's dope. It's interesting because I feel like we kind of I think people in general, we kind of take for granted like what it's like to experience the world and like how much of a difference that it can make. You know what I mean? To kind of expand your horizons and see something outside of where you've been. Because I know, Frank, where have you been outside of America?
Probably just Jamaica, Canada when I was like really, really young.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Jamaica and Canada?
Yeah.
What about you, Lina? Where you been?
For me, when I was very young, because my father's from Colombia, so I went to Colombia. And I would say maybe Bahamas, but I haven't been anywhere else like out of the country.
And then for myself, I've only been to the Caribbean, so I've been to Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica. Only two places. So I feel you on that. I definitely do want to.
I definitely want to go to Jamaica as well. I just grew up around 101 Jamaicans again. That's all I grew up around, Jamaicans. So yeah, I definitely want to go to Jamaica. So I think band on that all in Jamaica now.
I fuck that.
Yeah, they're having a good time still. I'm not gonna lie.
A lot of people are going there this year. I see.
Say that again.
A lot of people are going there this year. I see.
Yeah. A lot of people are going. So.
What you call it? So like, alright, cool. So we talked a little bit about traveling. We talked a little bit about like, what you would do otherwise, right? If it wasn't for music, but we want to touch a little bit about music, right? Because I know, like for myself, I forgot what the first song of yours that I heard. You know what the first Abs song either of you? Anybody know what the first song I heard from Abs?
Yeah.
So for me, it was actually no. That was technically the first even real reaction that I did. It was On Deck. That was the first, he was like the first person I actually like really got introduced to the UK from. So it was like that was my first song from him.
What about you, Frank?
I mean, funny enough, remember we went to Dave's concert. We went to the Dave concert. They played Robbery. The DJ up there. That was the first time I heard that song.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was you that told me what the name of the song was.
Wow. Yeah, so hear that. So this man, he's from Brooklyn. The first time he heard your music was at a concert in New York.
That's mad.
That's mad when you think about it, right?
That's mad. You know what it is? That gives me motivation, innit? Cause I know the No Man, this song will get played somewhere like a concert in Brooklyn. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's just motivation, bro. Lets me know that man can open up to a bigger audience, innit?
Facts. I know for me, I think I don't remember what the first song I heard was. I'm not gonna hold you. I think one of the earliest ones in general was probably Valentine though. I'm not gonna hold you. I be walking up and down the crib just singing that for no reason, for no good reason. I just walking up.
Yeah, that's the same for me too.
Them Valentine's stuff, man, had fun making it. It was me and Kush in it in the studio.
Yeah.
Me and Kush just, yeah, man. It's like as soon as Valentine comes, it's like, right, like, we'll come and do different that all these other drillers don't do and shit.
Yeah.
I said, bro, come and put some melodies on the song or something. Yeah, man.
You know what's funny? I'm happy you brought that up because that was actually one of the questions that I had for you, right? Like, because right now, obviously, we're on YouTube. We took a break. We heard the first track, so we just heard well, I don't want to say the wrong name. The first track off the EP, right, off of Mixed Emotions.
Starman.
This is Starman, right? Right. So we just heard the first track, and I was like, yo, what the hell made this man wake up one day and say, you know what I'm gonna do? like what? So you kind of started touching it a little bit, but like was it? So you said mostly it's because you wanted to do something that other people weren't doing, right? Like, was that like the main inspiration for that?
Yeah, because I actually like music. You get me? Like when I hear music and I like what I hear, you get me? Like I could play the same song that I like 10 times over. You get annoyed. You get me? So yeah. It's whatever I hear on the beat, and if I feel like this ain't a beat that man would rap on it, I won't rap on it. But it's because man used to read the Quran when I was younger, innit? So like when you read the Quran, you incorporate certain melodies and stuff, harmonies, and so that just helped me growing up in this. Like when I done music, and the first time I actually tried to sing on a track, so right, this is semi-calm. It's not really that hard. You get me? So then, yeah, man just. Yeah, literally, man, just done it. You know what it is? Majority of youths can probably do it. You get me? But like certain men are scared of how they look. You get me? So it's like if you're scared of how you look, bro, you're not gonna push yourself as hard as you can be. You get me, bro?
Yeah.
Man's thing is where man's solidified on man's part. You get me? So I don't need to pull the wool over no one's face and pretend to be a certain. You get me, bro? I just do what I can.
I have a small question.
Go for it, Lina.
When was that moment that you realized, like, the first time you ever even made a singing track that you knew, like, you know what, I could really do, like, a singing track. Like, I could really sing on a track and, like, it be, like, a banger.
This song, I didn't really put it out like that, but it was a song called Bumper. I was a little youth when I done that. Not little youth, but I was, like, around the times that I first come out, I just didn't release the song, innit? But when I done that, I listened to it and thought, I could try something. But with music, I always tell someone, like, how you sound when you first start rapping, you won't sound like 3 years later, you get me? So that type of singing that I done there, like, now I wouldn't put that out, you get me? But that made me realize, so then I just dwelled on it, innit? Carried on, and then improved it. And then, and just got to where it is.
Word. I know Frank said he had a question for you as well. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of something that you just said a while ago, where you said you kind of just make music based on how you feel, right? And honestly, we can get that vibe. Like your catalog already says it. You didn't even need to say it today. Like, but I do have a question for you, because I know every artist has a different like writing process, right? You know, somebody like Jay-Z, he already publicly said that he doesn't write anything down. He just memorizes, goes to the studio and starts spitting. So would you say that you're somebody who writes a lot before you get there? What was that?
I don't write no lyrics, you know, bro. I used to, and then it started fucking me, you get it? I stopped writing like 3-4 years ago. I have to be in the studio, innit? I actually have to be in the studio, be in the booth, and then, just play the beat, and then send the headphones in it, I'm just going over it. And then, when I feel like I got something in my head straight away, I lay it down, you get me?
Nah, I'm in amaze. I'm in amaze. What the hell are you gonna do when it's time for like a concert? You gotta remember a whole set. You just.
No, do you know what it is? You see when I make music, if I make a song that I like, I'm gonna listen to that song for time before it even comes out. So you know that you might catch me saying, "Oh, I'm tired of hearing this song" when it comes out, because I've heard it so much before it's come out. It's like, bro, it's too much now. You get it? So it's like, bro, man, it's not hard for me to memorize songs, innit? Because I like the song, you get me, and I'm just gonna keep listening to it. But I don't ever get into them like them pickles there. Still, it's not. You know what it is? Majority of people can do it. You get me? It's just like how best of it, like how your ability is, isn't it? It's not hard like that to do. You feel me? It's not hard. But I can understand why certain people struggle with it. I used to struggle with it at the start, and then I just eased into it.
So that I'm actually happy Frank asked that. 'Cause that's actually one of the questions I was gonna ask too. Like, generally speaking, right? When you're in the studio, do you like have a concept, or do you hear the beat first, or do you have the hook in mind first? Like, what typically is like what typically happens while you're in the studio making a song?
And I listen to the beat first.
Mm.
Whatever emotion the beat gives me, that's what I'm gonna give it back. Yeah, I don't necessarily like. I might be angry today, but that used to be what would happen back in the day. Like I'd be angry and then I might write something and it'll come out super aggressive. You get me, bro?
Mm-hmm.
But I've went there with the intention on writing that. You see, whereas man don't write now, so it's like I'm going to the studio and listen to beats. Whatever type of beat it is, that's the type of energy man will put on it now. You get me? I don't really think about it beforehand.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel like a lot of people don't understand about artists, especially artists who we were introduced to them through drill. I feel like simple-minded people would just like, oh, they talking about X, Y, Z, but I think a lot of people don't understand. Something I always say, right, is that every hour a person is in the studio is 1 hour that they're not outside doing whatever it is they're expressing, right? Right, and at the same time too, it's like, and also if they weren't experiencing these things, they wouldn't have these things to say, right? It's significantly harder for a person who hasn't gone through X, Y, Z.
You know what it is, you see in life, there's evil everywhere, bro. Man's thing just gets highlighted more, you get me? I don't really like doing the superstitious thing and whatnot, but there's a reason why it gets highlighted more, because, bro, like, Italian mobsters and that, they do the maddest killings, bro. Man's killings are bait, you get me, bro? Like, black on black crime is, a man will see a man down the road and just shoot him, you get me? Because he'd shoot him, you get what I'm saying? Whereas an Italian youth now, a man might have just fucked up the pack or something and they're chopping up someone's son, you get me, bro?
Yeah.
You won't see that on the news and that talking about Italian mobsters, just, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, man's thing is just highlighted, bro. It's like, when man's making music, bro, man's not telling anyone to go and do anything at all, you get me, bro? Like, if you didn't grow up in it, a normal roadie would tell you, you're a dickhead for involving yourself if you never had them problems in the first place, you get me, bro?
Yeah.
So, when I hear people say that man use music to fucking man's influencing the youths and that, bro, man was a fucking proper roadie, bro. No music influenced me to go do nothing on the road, bro. You get me?
I'm actually happy you said that, because at the end of wait, is it? Wait, can y'all still hear me? I think it's
yeah, they good. I think the video is still.
It's just throwing up, but I'm happy you said that, because like when I reacted to your Black Lives Matter song, right, with Bando and Els, at the end, something I said was like, people talk about, oh, these artists are influencing the youth, da da da. I said, well, who was Columbus listening to when he decided to ride out into the Caribbean? Like, who, you feel me? Like,
bro, do you see what it is? Yeah, any youth committing some mad crimes right now, we're not told you music influenced my man. You get me, bro? If we wasn't doing music, the roads would be more crazy, bro. Cause man's got more time on man's hand for fuckery, you get me, bro? I heard that obviously people talk about the content and everything there, but bro, there's fucking movies that talk about gang shit. There's fucking, you get me, art of fuckery, like fuckery shown on art and that, bro. There's bad everywhere, you get me, bro? Just because man's been able to turn bad into a good, certain people create, you get me? You see me? I don't like going through them type of arguments, like what's good for society and what's bad, car. Man's not a normal civilian, innit? So how a normal civilian would think, I wouldn't be able to understand. Same way how I would think a normal civilian wouldn't be able to understand. So I think when everyone has them conversations there, man are just going around in circles, car. Like, shorty down the road don't understand why you crash my man down the road, you get me? But you know, he shot at you the other day, you get what I'm saying, bro? But if you come up on the internet now, they're gonna say, bro, black on black crime, these youths don't understand, they're just losing it, you get me? So yeah, man, it's a lose-lose situation. I think everyone just got to get on with what they're doing, innit? You get me? And then, bro, as a parent, it's your responsibility. If you really think music is brainwashing the youths, same way they put 18 plus on movies and them thing there, bruv. You know, when music's, you get me, X-rated and everything, they don't make your kid listen to it, bruv. If your kid is influenced by music to go and kill someone on the road, your kid is a fool. A normal road youth will tell you your kid is a fool, fam. You get me? That's what the music making them do that.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's like when I listened to your project, when I listened to Product My Environment, it was like, for me, what I took away is I'm not listening to every song saying he wants me to go out here and do the same thing that he did. Mostly it was like, You're talking about your experience. You're talking about how you got out of this experience and how now making music is your escape from it. And it's mostly just expressing yourself, and it's letting, because the thing is, majority of people that's not doing music like you, and let's say they're on the road still doing what they're doing, they're holding all that in. Literally. And they're not expressing it. No one gets to hear their stories. No one gets to understand how they feel. So when you're in the studio and you're letting that out, I feel it, because I feel some of the times, like certain songs, I don't know if you hear certain artists, you feel their pain. It's like, no, let them speak it out. It's not them saying, it's different. If you're on a song saying, go outside and do this, understandable, but you're literally just talking about your experiencing.
I'm just saying what man's gone through. I won't tell no one else. It's like, bro, I wouldn't want to have a child and my child grow up to be how I was before I was rapping. That's a failure. You feel me? Like, music saved, man. So you see, when people don't understand that, it's like, bro, man's living proof, man. Man's whole block is on the verge of doing something so mad like the UK ain't seen before. You get me, bro? And that's off of music. If man never had no music, bro, man ain't got nothing to lose. You're on the streets. You get me, bro? As bad as anyone can be, as good as anyone can be, bro. No one loves the street. Everyone wants ways out. There's like a couple percent of dickheads that will glorify it, you get me, and try and twist people's head and make them think, yeah, man, this is a bad man thing for life, you get me, bro? But it's not that, like, niggas, like, man's just focused on more, bro. There's so much badness that goes on, but because man's found a way to pattern, they're angry, innit?
Yeah, I agree. I know Frank said he wanted to ask you something. Go ahead, Frank.
So, I mean, you dropped a project called Product of My Environment. You speak, you know, a lot about, you know, the things that you experienced growing up and so on and so forth, especially coming from the environment that you came from. So one of the questions I had for you is, if you had, let's say, the magic powers, right, where you could snap your finger and change one thing right now about where you grew up, what would be the first thing you would want to change?
That's a good question.
There'll be a lot, man. There's a lot of things that man are going to change, you get me? One thing, I don't know, you know, like I always say, like when people ask me things like, oh, what would you do if you had one wish? I say, I'd wish for a million wishes, you get me, bro? So I can do whatever I want to do, because man's area is not, like, from the time I started going there from a kid, you get me, because my family and that was living on the estate. I wasn't actually living on the estate. I lived up the road from the estate, you get me?
Okay.
But man would go there to play football and whatnot, meet man's brethren and that, cousins and whatnot. So, you know, like, naturally, man, see every sort of fuckery that goes on in the area, you get me, bro? So it's like, if I just changed the one thing, it'd be another thing to do and another thing to do, you get me, bro? So it's a hard question still. I'd say that the police shit and that, like the police brutality and that, man would allow that, because that put, like, my whole area in a different space, and it made everyone despise police more. You get me? Because of certain unnecessary things that they do. So yeah, man, I think the first start would be the police. Change how they deal with us on the block.
Yeah, I hear that. I agree. I think that's a fair answer, man. I think that's fair. So actually, so really quickly, because Frank mentioned Product of My Environment, it was one of the other questions I had, right? Like, I know for me, I'm mad slow. I'm not gonna lie, right? We reacted to the project, and then it got to the end of it. I said, oh wait, this is about him being a product of his environment. I'm just like all the songs, like you had a feel for like all the different I guess phases in life, right? To a degree, like you have like the here's why I am now. You have the like here's how I feel about where I came from. Here's me expressing the emotions about where I came from and how I grew up and everything, right? But like, what would you say was the inspiration for the project overall?
It was, you know, the inspiration was my fans, you know. It was just my fans, really and truly, Carl. Remember, it's like the environment is just something man's talking about, you get me? What's inspiring man to talk about is how much the fans is fucking with man again. So then I thought, bro, I can't just leave them dry, you get me? I must have a mixtape or something ready for you, Carl. I remember people was on me for years saying, nah, he can only do features and he can't stand on his own legs. So that was part of me showing that, yo, like, man's proper humble, like, you ain't even got to fucking include me in that race there, like. I'm not here to be better than no one or be the best or something. I'm just here to feed man's people, you get me? So any little thing that I can get patterned, bro, like, man will pattern it without the praise and whatnot. You get me? So, you see, like, the tape, it was just the fans, literally, just the fans showing me, like, yo, man, need you back now.
Yeah.
You get me? Yeah, man.
I hear that. You know, Lina, what's your favorite song off the project? I'm throwing a question at you. Also, Abs, just so you know, at a point, I also want you to be able to ask us some questions. So I like for things to be a bit of a dialogue. So if there's anything that you want to know about us, about anything, like, feel free to throw that at us. But Lina, for you, what's your favorite song
For me,
off the project?
it would have to be, I forgot the freaking name. It was the one where he was talking about, it was like the lovey-dovey type one. I'm not going to lie.
You?
It was the lovey-dovey.
Was it you?
Probably you, innit? I think that's the
Yes,
only love
you.
song that I had on there. Yeah, you with Young Adson, LB.
It would
That
have to
one
be
put me on
that
guard.
one, and it would have to be Keep Going.
Yeah, keep going. I really keep going as well. I think my best tune on there is Everywhere I Go. It's the outro.
Yeah.
So you get me?
Everywhere I
Yeah.
go.
So see, that's a man to the T, you get me? Like, that's a man to show me, like, bro, man rap, you know, but I'm still human, you get me, bro?
Yeah.
Things don't change just because you blow up off a rap. You
Mm-hmm.
get me? Sometimes they get worse. You feel me? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That tune, when I listen to it, it gives man goosebumps, bro. I feel it, you get me? Even my brethren told me, like, yo, like, this is us, you know, this rhythm here, like, this is what we go through on a daily basis, you get me, bro?
Yeah, I hear that. You want to say something, Lina?
I was going to say, I don't know, me and Shadiq both kind of have the same thought of this, but we always say this whenever we listen to another ass song that ever drops. I just always, any song with you singing is always my favorite. Over any drill, over anything, singing, it always just like, that's always an instant replay, anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I would take that over drill any day.
Love, man. Love.
I hear that. What about you, Frank? What's your favorite track over Product of My Environment?
It's hard to choose like my number one, but the one that I played the most now, like even to this day, is Trenches. Your intro to the project.
Really?
Yeah, like I have it on 2 playlists right now.
Yeah, man. Love, man. Trenches. So.
Speaking of playlists, for all of you who are in the chat, right, y'all could go on Spotify and you can look up Intro to Abra Cadabra. I made a 12-track playlist, right? I constructed the playlist of what I believe to be 12 of Ab's best songs for new listeners, right? And I constructed it to flow like an album, right? So if you all want to put your friends onto Abs, you just want to hear a playlist with a bunch of what I believe to be some of his best songs, look up Intro to Abra Cadabra. It's on YouTube and it's on Spotify. So check that out. My favorite song, damn. I like How We Livin'. I always say Abs and Kush is an undefeated duo. I don't care what nobody says. Like, whenever Abs and Kush are on the song, it's like, they're going to violate.
Yeah,
like, they're going to violate.
Me and Kush got a certain chemistry, you get me? You know, that's my dog, you get me? Like,
yeah.
That's my dog, you get me? From young. You see, when men's got in studio together, before I even made a 1p off of music, bro, that's where I was in the studio. I was 24s, you get me? To the point where, like, man's learning off of each other, innit? I might adopt a flow off of him, he might adopt a melody off of him. Kush was never on the singing to me, for you never drop a melody, you get me, bro? After a while, like, we're just experimenting, you get me, bro? Like, yeah, man. Just goes crazy. Anytime we're gonna make a rhythm, we know, like, man's not coming to just make a normal song. It needs to be something proper.
And you know, speaking of collabs, right? So you also have Dappy on there, right?
Yeah.
That one caught me off guard. When I seen that, I was like, okay. So like, what was it like being able to collab with somebody like Dappy, who has such a strong history in the scene, who is so well respected and everything in the scene? Like, what was it like being in the studio, putting the song together? And I would also say really quickly, right? Selected Bad Boys or Bolo? But the first part though, what would you say? Hold on, we can't hear you. I think you might be muted. When you talking, we can't. You say something quick? Yeah, you good. Yeah.
My thing just popped up. Yeah, I was saying it. Selective Bad Boy is more of my type of song, innit? But Bolo's like it's more of a vibey type of thing. You get me, bro? Selective Bad Boys is more me just talking my shit, basically. You get me? But that link up was proper organic still, but literally was supposed to pattern from time ago. You get me? And then obviously everyone's busy and that, so then we eventually got in the studio and that, we just banged out 2 tunes quickly back to back. Yeah, man, it was proper. Like, man was going in the studio, then I'll go in the booth, he would come out, go in the booth, then I'd go back in, he would go back in, you get me? So then it's like, what you doing? Like, cause that what you doing? Say nothing, I'm gonna go in there and try something, you get me? Then he'll come out, that was cold, I'm trying that, you get me? Like, yeah, man. It's proper cold still at work, man. There's not a lot of guys that might make music with, man. Got solid chemistry with them in the studio, you get me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Word. Lina, you have anything you want to ask before we go into the last couple questions?
This is one of the biggest things because it was one song, I forgot the name of it, but where you did a Carrie Hilson reference.
You
wanted
know.
to ask you, I wanted to ask you, as far as, well, two-part question. I know obviously you go into R&B. If you could go back in history and work with any like decade of artists, what era would you go to?
That's a good question. That's a good
You know what
question.
it is, yeah? You see, like when I do the little samples and that in my songs and that, you know, I think that shit is just in the back of my head. You see, like the artists, I don't remember majority of them. I know, like, obviously the big ones like P. Diddy and all these guys, but you see, like someone like KRXOVR.
Yeah.
If I didn't put that reference in that song there, I wouldn't be able to say her name now. You get what I'm saying? So there's bare people that I would love to say their name, but it's just, my mind's just blank right now. You get me? I ain't done it. I'd have to be in the studio in the moment, and I'll remember something like, raw, like, this melody was cold, like, you see what I can do with it, you get me? Because them things, they just come to me on the spot. Like, I don't ever think about it, like, let me use this person's harmony, and like, it just comes.
Yeah. I hear that. You gonna say something, Lina?
Oh, no, I was like, okay.
So that's actually a good question too, because one of the other questions I had here was like, if you could collab with any artist in the world, right? Any genre, any artist, anybody, right? If you could pick one collab, who would you collab with? It's a sticky one, right?
It's hard, bro. Cause I listen to a mad range of music, bro. I barely listen to drill. You get me? I actually like music that I can, you know, like bounce off of and make music with a meaning. The drill's just more energetic for me. Like, I listen to Afro beats, dancehall, pop, R&B, everything really. I just don't listen to opera. You get me?
Opera.
You get me? I listen to bad things, dog.
Wait, no, hold on, wait. Quick question, because on our side, right? Usually when you ask people what they listen to, they say we listen to anything but country.
So like, country. What's country again? Like them Texas guys and that.
Yeah, they. I went to baby down the road.
Yeah, you know it is. You see them rhythms there. I don't hear them like that in it, but they, you know, like we hear good melodies and that in it. You know, innit? You get me? Bro? It's like, bro, you never know. I might just come across one day like, right, this one's cold. I might wheel it back. You get me, bro?
Yeah.
Depends, man. Man's thing's more. I don't really go off. You know, like certain man will go off of like, where you live in, like what did you live in your past life and that. I don't go off of that, man. Just go off of, you get me, like music, bro. You feel me? I don't know everyone else's personal life. You get me? That's none of my business. Like, you get me? I don't watch no. I just listen to the music and that. You get me? So yeah, man. Yeah.
Nah, I hear that. I respect that. You got anything you want to ask, Lina?
I think I asked the questions I wanted to ask.
Got you. So I have like two more, and then I also want to give you an opportunity to ask us questions as well. All of us are from New York, right? But we want to make sure you get a chance to ask us some stuff too. But going back a little bit, we're gonna go backwards just a little, right? So with regards to 2020, right? Like, first of all, were you planning for 2020 to be as wild as it was? Because let me tell you something. You came out with Remember Me in November 2019. I'm gonna say, all right, cool, right? And then you dropped the Big Flick freestyle. I was like, all right. Then it was like, Baby. Then it was just boom. Did you plan it like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what man wanted. You know what it is? Man always prayed like the quality of the music was there. It's just my consistency was shit.
Yeah.
You get me? I didn't really. It's like after I got to a certain point, I'm not arrogant, but it's like naturally I suddenly became arrogant. Like I don't need to go to studio no more. I've made it. You get me? I don't really give a fuck. So I was focusing on other things that don't need to be focused on. You get me, bro? So you see, like 2020, I said, yeah, this is the year that man got to fully put my foot down. You get me? Cause bro, I started seeing some crazy things. Like that's why it's like I had it in my head when I made Remember Me, the first Remember Me, when I was saying when the best decides to leave, will they remember me? You get me,
bro?
I really thought about them things in my head. Cause bro, I see niggas get washed up. You get me, bro? And nobody cares about them again. You get me, bro?
Yeah, that's a fact.
when man's listening to my brothers listen to my music and the way they're telling me man's so talented and that, I'm saying, bro, like, there's no way I can put this all to waste, you get me? So I must not be doing something right. Yeah, man. Obviously, my cousin's my manager as well, innit? So me and my cousin just put in a shift, bro. I was just banging out songs. I only made the tape in like November. That's when I fully finished the tape, you get me, bro? That's when I started recording it like June, July times. Yeah, I started recording it like July times and I finished it in November, you get me? But that I had to just make it go crazy, bro. I said to my cousin, like, yo, man's going on a mad streak to the point where when they see my videos, they're like, bro, didn't you just drop something the other day, bro? Like, why is he dropping this again? You get me, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a fact. Like every time I do a video, I'm just like, yo, this is the 9th song, the 10th song, the 11th song. I think by the end of the year, you had dropped like 14 or 16 videos when I counted. And I was just like, all right, I respect that because one, that's a good way to build up the hype for a project. Two, it showed people a lot of range as well. You touch on a lot of different topics. You introduced a lot of different sounds that we hadn't heard before, different sides you that we hadn't heard before. So I was excited personally, right? But one of the things that what was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say anymore. but overall, so boom. I remember what I was gonna say. I was going back a little bit further, right? So I know one of the first times a lot of people heard of you was your Black Box, right? No funny shit. I'm telling you right now, right? My supervisor, right? To this day, I played your Black Box, right? And then there'll be times I would just be sitting in the office. Like, let's say I'm sitting here, I'm at my computer, his computer's over there, right? And I'm just chilling. Next thing I know, I just hear, show, no problem. I'm just like, what the heck? This man is playing your Black Box while we working, right? But one of the biggest things for me is like, what inspired you to jump on the Tupac beat in particular? Because that's my favorite half. Obviously, Robbery did what Robbery did, but that half right there was, man, like, what inspired that?
Yeah, that's what introduced me into the team still, fucking, man. I just like the beat, and I listened to a couple of Tupac tunes like Ghetto Gospel. I rate that beat and the singing on it. There's another one, Last Motherfucker Breathing. Rate that tune, man, you get me? So that was like 3 classics that I man listened to. And I said, brother, I'm gonna rip one of these beats one day, but this wasn't the time when I was focused on being a rapper, you get me? This is just like, song might sound cold, you get me? Let me see what it sounds like. So then, out of all those 3, it was Letter to My Unborn Child, innit? I just ran with it. So it's just the way the beat was, I could go so crazy. Them time that I never used to write songs. Robbery was the first song that I was writing, you get me? So it's like, when man first done that, it was just a long freestyle if you pre it, bro. I done it for minutes, bro. For time, you get me? Just kept it going and that. I just wanted to let it go, really and truly. Just a beat that you can just vent on, innit, and go crazy.
Yeah. I know Frank said he had to go and ask you something. Go for it, Frank.
Just to piggyback again off of a question you already asked you, because last year was mad. Like, I remember you dropped Baby. I was like, oh, this is a different sound. And then you dropped On Deck, and then we did the video. I was like, damn. And then right after that was what? Spin This Coupe. I was like, what the hell are you doing now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
then it would show me.
And then now you telling me that you don't even write this before going in and Spin This Coupe. I need you to tell me what did you do? But aside from that, that's not the real question. I just want to know. But the real question I have for you, right? Because of the fact that, you know, both of us use Spotify. Usually when you play songs on Spotify, it shows you the stream numbers. Your streams are going up like tremendously, right? So I guess you can say that you're kind of in the limelight now. What do you feel like you have to do differently? Like, you know, just stepping outside or even just, you know, going to the store. Like, do you feel like you have to carry yourself differently from the way that you did before blowing up the way that you did in the past year or so?
That's a fact.
Well, do you know what it is, Man, I've been accustomed to this type of living all my life, It's just with the music, it got more like secure. Like I moved more secure than I would before. You get me? Cause before I just a street you, but that doesn't mean you know me. You get me? I'm just a random street. You get what I'm saying? You have to actually be in my area to know me. I wasn't a youth that like you would hear about from north, south, east, west, proper loud and that. You get me? I wasn't a loud beat. I was just doing whatever I had to do. You get me, bro? It's like, man, this thing is like, bro, I don't know, man. It's just the way like the way life goes for man, it's mad, innit? You get me? Like I feel like, see, like when it comes to like music and stuff, if I don't tell how it is and that properly, people won't understand my shit. You get me, bro? If I don't speak out, actually feel inside, they won't get me. You get me? So
yeah,
bro, honestly, I don't know, man. I just do whatever I can, bro. Literally, cause just do whatever I can, bro. Keep it going. Bro.
Yeah, I hear that. Damn, we touched on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So, really quick, right? So, we let you know in advance we were going to do this, right? So, what are some questions you have for us, whether it be us as listeners of music, listeners of your music, as New Yorkers, as Americans? What are some questions you have in general?
What did it? You see in America, you see like, do they feel like the UK is just about tea and crumpets and that? That's what they feel like, innit?
You know what it is? I feel like what it is, it's a combination of things, right? I think just like anything else in the world, right? When you're only given a particular image, right? That's all that you know to know, right? So I know, like, for example, like I've seen people from the UK talk about, oh, Australia just kangaroos and try, you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like everybody.
Was that? Is I think that's the small-minded people. You get me? Not like violence and gang culture is something to be proud of or nothing, but you know, like someone like man of my peoples. Man, no, even in South Africa there's violence. You get me, bro? Like anywhere, you know what I'm saying, bro? So like, it's just like the minority of people that will say stupid things like that. Ah, there's only kangaroos in Australia and that, but majority of the youth around here, like, we're more open-minded to other things and that. Like other countries and shit, you get me, bro? It's like when I linked up with Designer for the first time. Me and him had a show here. We performed. Then he went back in it. Then when he came back, he was like, "Yo, bro, like I was watching your videos. He thought like London was just, you know, the London Eye and shit, Big Ben and them thing there." He's like, "I didn't know you lot got trenches on there." I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna bring you to the trenches on there, bro. You see the trench, you get me, bro? Like we're all the same youths. It's just." Guns are legal over there. You get me, bro? And they're not legal here. You get me, bro? So it's like, yeah, man.
It's funny you say that because, like, for me, like, one of the main reasons why I go so hard for, like, what I do and everything was that I started listening to UK music in 2010, right? I remember very vividly. My friend put me on to Skepta's Tim Westwood freestyle, and from that moment onward, I've been following it as much as I can, right? And one of the things that I appreciate about the scene was that it helped me understand the world beyond myself, right? So I can listen to this music and I can be like, okay, so this is what's going on over there. And the videos help me actually see what life is like. And one of the things I appreciate about drill, I think that people don't value enough about drill, is that it has, for the first time, I think, in history, I think the world in general has a better understanding of everybody else's hood. Like, I could put on a song and, like, I may not know what the person is saying, but I know what the beat is saying, right? So I know he may be rapping in Spanish, but I could feel to a degree what he's saying, right? He may be rapping in French, he may be rapping in all these different languages, but the sound has given us a way to connect and given us a reason to see other people's hoods. You feel me? So I think, to answer your question, I do think that people feel like that, but I also think that over time because of things like Top Boy, you know what I mean? Like, people are starting to realize. I think Top Boy has been one of the biggest things that people have started to realize. Okay,
that's a fact.
It's big out there. And even like myself, it's like listening to the music. Frank put me on the Top Boy. You feel me? Okay. And like listening to like young music, listening to other artists' music, like seeing the videos and seeing like, oh, they're like, yo, their buildings look too much different from ours. Like it's really not that much different. So to answer your question, I do think that a lot of people feel like that, but I think that it's becoming more and more like a little punchline, but I think people are starting to realize that, nah, it actually does get deep over there.
And I see the people in the comments going crazy. I never said legalize guns, you know. Don't go and legalize guns in the UK, man. You get me? I just asked a simple question, but what they're gonna be on me. What else was I gonna ask? Fucking
yeah.
You see that over there, yeah? How big is it for you? See, like, once I heard this, like, once your own neighborhood listens to you, like, you're basically set. You get me? Once your hood listens to your pattern. Is that true over there?
I would say, I think to a degree. What are you gonna say?
So,
you know better than me.
So here's what I would say, right? I'm guessing you've heard some of the biggest artists out of New York, right? Pop Smoke, Fabio, of course, Bobby Shmurda, who pretty much opened the door for those people to put themselves on the map, right?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, like Pop Smoke. I don't think any of us knew who Pop Smoke was until we heard
Welcome to the Party.
But there were people that were banging that in Canarsie long before. You know what I'm saying? We even heard it. Because the first time I heard it was probably at a party. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then I think that's kind of when the sound started to shift and drill in New York.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
And everybody from their own hoods were kind of like taking that wave, jumping on it. Everybody in their neighborhood is playing their track.
Yeah.
That track makes it to a party. Yeah. That party had so and so many people here. Yeah. Now we all playing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're right. What it is out here is that you kind of blow up locally, but it's like super local. Super local amongst the people.
Definitely.
And all it takes is like one event where somebody that didn't know who you were, where you came from, heard it, and now they playing it in their neighborhood.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I
agree.
If man got man's area listening to man, we probably have like a 200K like watchers. You get me on YouTube or something. And somewhere like South London, for instance. Yeah, you probably hit a milli quick. You get me, bro? A man's from North London. A man's bit ain't like you see like South and that. That's like the more. I have to explain it. It's like the big parts of London. You get me, bro? Still the trenches and that. You get me, but for us over here, like somewhere like South London is like a little. I don't know how to explain it. It come like a little. Once you're from there, you're bound to get a recognition somehow. You get me?
So just
see, like for man in North, it's like, bro, man actually has to put in a mad shift. Not saying they don't have to put in a shift in South, but just cause the way man's thing is small, like man has to put in a crazy shift for the people them to recognize. And you get me? Like when I first blew up, like some people thought I was from South London. You get me? Bro? Just I'd prayed it was just like the stereotype of being big. Majority of the big artists from South London. You get me?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I feel like your area and that helps a lot, so in boosting you and that.
Yeah, I hear that. I also think that social media culture plays a really big role over here too. So I think that what happens is when you blow up locally, like for example, like Bobby Shmurda, I first heard about Bobby because of Vine. You know, him throwing up the hat, and then that song blew up. You feel me? Like I first heard Welcome to the Party because this dude out here. So the example I give people is that in New York, like Instagram comedians are like what reactors are in the UK. You know how like y'all could say Walks, Lee, like they're a part of like your urban culture, like your internet culture. Like in New York, the comedians are like that. So I first heard about Welcome to the Party because of somebody playing it was Capri, right? He did a video with that. I was like, what the hell is that? And people said, oh, Pop Smoke, welcome to the party. I'm just like, oh, okay. Now I know, what song that is and everything. So that's how I got put on, personally. So I do think that, especially big places like Chicago, certain places in Florida, nice. Yeah, we add them back. But for those who are here still, I do think that certain places like Chicago and Florida or whatever, it does play a big role in whether or not you get recognized. Because a lot of the artists that we know of now, they were hyper local, local, and then they just eventually that one song popped off, and then.
Or majority of the time, I feel like when the whole thing happened with Bobby, and then next thing you know, I think a whole bunch of groups started coming out, and then next thing you know, it started being like the beefing back and forth songs. I think that's what, if anything, they were like, oh, they're from this area. That's how you kind of knew what area they were from, and then they were blowing up from that, because it's like, oh, this part of Brooklyn and this other part of Brooklyn is beefing with each other. So now you're like, oh, if you're from this area, you're listening to this song, you see what your side is saying, kind of in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's what it is. But I do think that in general, though, I think because of drill in particular, it's become a lot more about like neighborhoods. I think that a lot of people are starting to understand people's neighborhoods a lot more. So like people, for example, like y'all could be in London and y'all know more about Brooklyn than you probably did before certain artists. A lot of people out here, like you'd be surprised. Like a lot of people really do be bumping UK music out here. Like I'll be waking up in the morning, I'm hearing certain beats playing. I'm just like, what the hell? Like you feel me? Like, I got my friends. They listening to your music, listening to certain other artists' music. I'm seeing people posting the music in their stories, and I think because of that, people have a lot more respect for other people's neighborhoods. You feel me?
You know what I could say too, though? I know one of the growing pains for people like trying to transfer over to listening to music from the UK has always been like the gap between our accents. I remember the first time I listened to Grime. When Shadiq was putting me on to Grime, I was like, I want to get into it, You know what I'm saying? Because I hear the bars, like I hear it, but it was hard for me to like really grasp it because the accent was so thick for some people.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we also have our little like impromptu list of like people that we think could really like make it out here if the time permits.
Yeah.
Right. And you are on the top of that list. Like you're one of those people like you brought that vibe, but not only that, like we can hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To a degree where even if you were to force it to try to sound like somebody from New York, I don't see that being a difficult thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those gaps that needed to be closed first. But now that it's been closing a bit more, we're hearing people that, you know, when you guys are enunciating now, it's a lot it's a lot easier to catch it now.
I'm getting in tune with the majority of the American artists over there as well. Like, what's it called? My boy Dusty.
I think also too it's dope to see that more artists out here are starting to give recognition and respect to artists over the fact despite like Drake can have Hetty on a song, and like now I could turn on the radio and I hear only you freestyle playing. I'm just like, yo, I was like, that's insane to me. And like the fact that you guys felt like Fabi on certain songs or certain platforms, etc. So it's like it's giving people more reason to understand what the rest of the world is like. You feel me? I hear that. But yeah, what else do you want to know about from our perspective as Americans, New Yorkers, whatever?
Oh, my mind goes blank, man. Fucking. What would you like rate more, like the drill stuff or the rap stuff?
Right now,
you know, right now I'm starting to. It depends, right? Like, Lina, what do you think? I know what I want to say. What do you think, Lina? Rap or drill?
For me, if I have to say, of course, drill is always that exciting thing of hearing what they're gonna say next on the next drill song. But for me, particularly, like if I'm talking about what I listen to on a daily basis, and like if I had to say like my favorite artists in the U.S., it would mostly be like more rapping, poetic type. They're literally like, it's like a storytelling in a way, like a J. Cole, like a I like the storytelling. I like feeling like I'm learning something in this song about the artist or like a story that's going on or just in general.
Facts, I agree. I know, like for me, like I've been getting on a lot of artists in my reactions lately. Just like I feel like over time, so I have two very strong opinions. Right? I feel like the average drill artist who decides to only stick with drill only has about 2 years of a career until people stop caring about them. If they only stick to drill, and you can see it. You can see certain artists that people used to love. They don't get the love that they used to. What was that?
You got a branch out still. I feel like if you don't adapt, they'll leave you quicker than they fucking discovered you, bro. You get me, bro? That's just how it is. And then it's not even that, bro. There's people that make dope music that don't get recognized, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I
just feel like it's how you put yourself out there as well.
I agree 1,000%. I agree. I think for me, like I'm leaning more towards rap, but I like when artists take the drill sound and then they start experimenting and they're able to start taking elements where they say, all right, cool, yeah, we recognize that this is drill to a degree, but they're starting to find just the right happy medium. Right, like I would say artists like Unknown T, for example. I'm looking out for that song, by the way. Right, but I know artists like Unknown T, like he's found that happy medium where it's just like, you know, he's talking about certain things. It doesn't sound too forced, but at the same time, like people who may not want to take that in, they could take it in comfortably. You feel me? So I like artists that could do both, but I would say even artists like T-Way, right? Somebody who could go back and forth. You know what I mean? But I think T-Way does it best. What was that?
T-Way is dope still. Listen to him.
That's a fact. Like somebody like him who could do stuff like that. But to be fair, there are also artists like a Two-Face, right? Who could say the maddest of things on drill, right? But it's like, I can't help but to listen to that. Man said you snitchy. His sentence went from 9 to 5. That's working class. What?
And you know, it's just like, you see what will help people, yeah? When you understand that, bro. If a man was talking about a mad thing, in the music, he's not directing that at a civilian. Only a crackhead will go around troubling people that ain't troubled him. You get me, bro?
Yeah.
Man's story is based on the people that live that same type of lifestyle as him.
Yeah.
You get me? So when man's listening to it, like, one have to understand it's fully entertainment. No one's like songs. It's not triggering man to go do fuckery.
Yeah.
You get me? There's real life things going on in the streets. I see some guy lying to the people them saying that on the roads there's points and that, like 3 points for a chest shot, 5 points for a headshot or something. I'm thinking, bro, like, where the fuck did you get that from? Cause you're just making it worse. Worse, you're a black man as well. they're just making it worse for us chatting shit like that, and it's cap as well. You get me, bro?
Yeah.
It's like, I think when people listen to it, try to understand that, bro. For one, it's entertainment. Two,
Yeah.
whatever a man's saying in that song is not directed at no civilians. You get
Yeah.
me? It's like, yeah, we all live in the same type of life, so yeah.
I hear that. All right, boom. So we don't want to take too much more of your time. I know Lina has one thing she's about to do, right? So we're about to ask you 10 questions, right? Just answer just like naturally, like whatever's the first thing that comes to mind. So the floor is yours, Lina.
All right, so we're gonna get straight into it. So the first question is FaceTime or texting?
Texting.
Texting? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, white Air Forces or black Air Forces?
Why?
White. Okay. Home cooked food or outside food?
Home cooked.
Home cooked. Looks or personality?
You're dead. I'm not gonna approach you. You get me, bro?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
It's a bit of both, innit? The
Yeah,
personality matters more, but the looks is like the selling point, innit?
it's a fact.
All right.
It's a fact.
So, are you more of a morning person or a night person?
Night person, 1,000,000%.
Okay. Would you prefer to pause time or rewind time?
Pause time or rewind time? Oh, that's a hard one. A pause time or rewind time.
Mm. You said pause?
Nah, I think I rewind still.
Rewind.
Rewind?
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be the fastest person alive or the strongest person alive?
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Man's in a maze.
That's crazy, but fucking. I think the strongest. They both have like ways of making shit difficult for everyone. If that's the fastest person in the world, no one can catch one, innit? So if you're the
Alright.
strongest, no one can touch you. I
Yeah.
think I'd go for strongest still.
I agree with that one. Okay,
Yeah.
so rap or R&B?
I'm already both, you know, but rap.
Rap. Okay. Visit New York or California?
New York, I heard it's like London over there.
Okay. And the last question, jerk chicken or curry goat?
Curry goat.
All right.
Good choice.
All right then. So yeah, so like I said, no, we don't want to take too much of your time. We're about to get back to reacting to the rest of your project. I'll send you the link in case you wanna drop in the chat real quick and just watch us listen to the song. But thank you for your time. We appreciate you deeply. Wishing you the best. Lina, anything you want to say really quick before we close out?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for speaking to us, taking the time out your day. I greatly appreciate it. You already know. Can't wait for new music. Yeah.
Right? Anything you want to say?
Support as well, man.
Oh, my fault. What you say?
I said appreciate the support as well.
Each and every time.
Well, shout outs to you. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm still banging your music loud as hell when I'm driving, so keep on giving me calls that I can do that for.
Big facts, so big facts.
Hey, look, Rag Talk's on me, bro. I don't like jerk chicken like that anymore.
We all support. We all support.
Right, so for everybody in the chat, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to be working on my video explaining the songs that I chose for the intro to Abra Cadabra playlist, so look out for that, right? Explaining why I chose the songs that I did, why I put them in the order that I did. For those of you who want to be able to put your friends on to a new artist and you don't know where to start, look out for that video. Once again, thank you for your time. Looking out for new music, especially that Unknown T song. I've been saying for a minute.
Oh, man, that was touching real soon, man. Trust me.
All right, say nothing. So before
I cut as well, we got Rag Talk 10 times as well. They show, man, just as much support as you guys.
Facts. Shout outs to all the people in the chat. I see you in the chat. Shazam, Rag Talk. All my friends who pulled up, all my frat bros who pulled up, all the supporters. Y'all the best. Yo. So as always, hang tight for some more reactions and content and interviews. We got more of that coming for y'all, but until next time.
Come on, man.
Peace, yo.
Love, bros.